a federal judge stopped the Trump administration's DHS from deporting a student who has a green card and also an 8-month pregnant wife.
Who's an American,
who is accused of protesting in a way that the U.S. government feels is supportive in some way of Hamas.
There's no criminal charges that they seem to have levied. They basically say that he's been supporting Hamas, and that makes students feel uncomfortable. But there's no specificity to the claim.
I don't even think they've been saying. I don't think they've even been saying supporting. They've said aligned.
Aligned, which is this is a cut and dry free speech issue. A cut and dry First Amendment free speech issue.
Beyond even the pale of a First Amendment. And also just sort of it just extraordinarily reprehensible. But understand that this is just a proof of concept, essentially, situation. Here is, folks, just yesterday in Foley Square, Manhattan. This is just sort of blocks from where a lot of the stuff happened was Zuccotti. Of course, it's downtown and near
the courthouse.
And here are protesters protesting the deportation. And this guy was on the negotiating committee with Columbia University.
Drop Site News, who have been doing, and Prem Talker there, phenomenal reporting about these issues, reported that just a day before he was disappeared by ICE, he had written to Columbia to ask for help because he was fearful that the Trump administration was targeting him.
And just what they're saying is aligned with Hamas is calling for Columbia to divest from Israel.
Yeah.
And we should just say Prem Talker is with Zateo.
Oh,
now.
I'm sorry.
But Drop Site and Talker over at
both doing great work. But
doing great work.
I think Zateo broke the story that I just mentioned. Apologies.
But here is
Drop Site.
Here is clips of the protests.
We want justice, you say how? We want justice, you say how? ICE off our campus now! ICE off our campus now! We want justice, you say how? We want justice, you say how? ICE off our campus now! ICE off our campus now!
Go ahead.
To sewage and water treatment plants have been completely destroyed by Israel with United States weapons. Even after a ceasefire has been reached, Israel continues its genocide on the Palestinians of Gaza. Just these past weeks, and in a blatant violation of the ceasefire agreement, international law, and all principles of justice and humanity,
Yeah. So good on folks coming out there. And I don't really want to hear much from liberals who are saying that where are all the Palestinian advocates under Donald Trump? Well, there they are.
Check your DSA. There's one I know in St. Louis on Wednesday. I'm sure there's a lot going up in your communities.
In the meantime, and this is scary stuff, because CNN had Bruce Blakeman, and he is the Nassau County Executive. He's the one who was I can't even remember his name now. That congressman from who just left.
Well, this is Swazi's district.
Right.
You're thinking
I can't even remember the Republican's name.
Santos.
Yeah. This is the guy who supported George Santos because Santos was apparently so Jewy, and then turned out to actually not be anything.
Jewish.
Yeah.
He was just making a joke.
But this guy has a crack team that really does amazing analysis, right? Like, I mean, they didn't pick up on Santos right away. And so maybe he went out and said, you know what we need is some type of intel division.
Over on Long Island.
I think the question here is about whether speech can result in people's legal rights being taken away.
He's a virulent anti-Semite. He came here on a student visa. He's paid by a terrorist
Pause it for a
organization.
second. Now, listen, there's a couple of things that I just want to add. He may have come here on a student visa. He has a green card. He's a permanent resident now.
Legal immigrant.
Legal immigrant, permanent resident. You're a legal immigrant if you come on a student visa, but you're a permanent resident if you have a green card. And I would just say, if you're really worried about anti-Semitism, I would suggest, if you really want to find some, search on Twitter, Sam Seder, Jew, and you will find a lot of anti-Semitism in the wake of that Jubilee video. But that's
They're
aside
just
the point.
reminding you of your identity. I don't know why you're so hung up on this.
Go ahead.
On a student visa. He's paid by a terrorist organization
Excuse me.
that
Is
the
there
heads
evidence?
babies,
What
evidence do you have
that
of
the
any of
heads
that?
babies.
Wait.
I have evidence.
So I'm sorry, just to be clear,
that-
you're alleging that he's paid by
He's a
who?
paid protester.
By who?
Well, I didn't ask my intelligence division exactly who paid for him, but
Insane.
he's being
Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. So first he says he's paid by a terrorist organization.
Uh-huh.
And
Say no more.
and he just expects that to just go fly. And he goes, and he has an intel division. Is that what he said?
Over in Nassau County, Long Island.
Staten Island CIA.
Oh no, that's not. It's not even Staten Island.
Oh, right,
This is
Long
even
Island.
more upper crusty Long Island people. Yeah, like the over in Mineola, they're really looking into the international politics there. It's like MI6 over there.
Let's do a little role play for a second. You be the intel division,
Okay.
and I will be this Joker Blakeman. Is this protester paid?
Yes.
Don't say anything else.
I gotta
I
go
don't
to
want to
CNN.
follow up on this. I've got to go to CNN. Don't say anything else. I have no more questions for you. That's it. Great job. You have been excellent.
Yes, he didn't expect the follow up from the entire panel. Shout out to our friend Van Lathan who's on the panel there. Abby Phillip does not let this go, so credit to her.
All right, go back. This is amazing.
Yeah.
It's a Long Island CIA.
Go
I have
ahead.
evidence.
So I'm sorry, just to be clear, you're alleging that he's paid by
He's a
who?
paid protester.
So
By who?
Well, I didn't ask my intelligence division exactly who paid for him, but
What's the
he's being
evidence?
paid by. He's being
That's a
paid.
pretty explosive allegation. Who is he being paid by?
Can I ask you a question?
You said you had evidence. Who is he being paid by?
He's being paid by organizations that are anti-American, that are engaged in nefarious
Name them.
activities.
Ooh, nefarious.
I don't ask my intelligence division to
Well,
give
then don't
me.
come on national TV and say. Don't come on national
You know
TV.
who he's being paid by?
I don't, and I'm not alleging that
Are
he's
you
being paid.
okay with what he's doing?
I'm
Hold on,
not-
pause it for a second. Wait a second. We got to go back. What's fascinating is he will ask, what's her face? Navarro.
Anna Navarro, who-
He'll ask Anna Navarro who he's being paid by.
Former Republican.
But he won't ask his own intel division who he's being paid by.
Hey, you know the guys in Massapequa. They're really covert. They're going to give me a little bit of the drip, but we don't got all the information here. I mean, this is the central claim he was asked to come on television to make. And he didn't have that answer.
Wait a second. But he does seem to know some things about it. So let's revise our little role play. Okay. Again, I'll be Blakeman.
Okay.
You be my intel division. Okay. Is he paid?
Yes.
Okay. I want you to cough once if it's an anti-American organization. Don't tell me anything. I'm just going to wing it. Go ahead. Come
Then
on.
don't come on national
you
TV
gotta
and
keep it
say
on
on
the
things.
playground there.
Don't come on national TV.
Do you know who
and
he's
say-
being paid by?
I don't, and I'm not
Are you
alleging
okay-
that he's
are you
being paid.
okay with what he's doing?
I'm not alleging he's
Are you
being paid
okay
by
with
because
that?
I don't know.
Are you
if he's
okay
being
with
paid.
anti-Semitism?
You are coming on
Are you
national
okay with
TV and using this
intimidating
platform
Jewish
to spread
students?
things. No, I'm
Are you
not.
okay with
No,
hate speech?
Don't make this about that. Make it about the fact that you
That's
know,
exactly what it's
listen,
about.
That you talk louder doesn't mean anything. You're making this about. You
I'm
are
sorry.
saying things on national TV that you cannot corroborate. That is irresponsible, and you
Well,
should not.
why don't
come
you
and
ask the
use
NYPD
CNN
Intelligence
platform.
Bureau?
Well, let the.
Why don't you ask the FBI and the CIA?
Because I don't speak to
They
them.
know
Let
exactly
them-
what's going on.
If there's evidence,
I'm going to
bring it
ask
out.
you. Hold on. I'm going to ask one more time. Do you know for a fact that he is being paid by another entity, especially a terrorist organization? Can you state that as a fact?
I can state with the fact that he is being paid, as the other professional protesters are being paid, by anti-American organizations that are engaged in nefarious activities.
So if that allegation...
That I can confirm.
Okay, so Bruce, I'm just going to say it right here. You've just made that claim. There's no evidence that I know of. There's no evidence that you've provided.
Well, he can sue me then.
And I mean,
we'll come out in court.
He's free to do whatever he wants. But the United States government has not made that allegation. They have not made charges against him on that.
Of course they made that allegation. That's why he's being...
No, they haven't.
So this is the chilling effect of...
There's people should watch for the rest of, because Van was on there, and that's great that he's getting more media attention. But they all push back. I do think that this is such a flagrant violation of our Constitution that even, Anna Navarro was a Republican like a few years ago. She's still making this case. Like, she probably still is. But can we just pull up?
All right, one thing I want to just add here. The reason why this guy has to lie about this is because on its face, what's happening is so corrupt, so unconstitutional, that they have to lie to say that he's somehow now an agent of some type of nefarious terrorist anti-American organization, which of course, if he was, the U.S. government could charge him with that. It's not like, I haven't authorized.
Let's get him on the speech stuff instead.
I haven't authorized the Suffolk County Intel Division to share with the United States Intel Division.
We got our sources and methods over here. We're trying to protect.
What am I running? Some type of freebie thing? No.
Their interrogation methods include playing Billy Joel over and over again for their subjects or something like that. I don't know what he's
neither confirm nor deny. Okay.
But then he later moved on to the CIA and FBI.
Here's the other thing.
Yeah.
What if he was being paid by some entity to protest? Like, where's the illegality in this?
Right.
Where's the what's his face? Blakeman is on there. Presumably he gets paid to be a Republican operative.
How about the Zionist protests at UCLA who were paid by Jerry Seinfeld's wife? They were paid to go out there and harass and sometimes physically intimidate pro-Palestine encampments out there. But why I found this video so fascinating is because we'd covered this before and it's not getting enough attention. That Nassau County, which is a part of Long Island, that's why we're making all these Long Island jokes. It's it's the wealthiest part of Long Island, that North Shore area. They were the first, not a red state, not Oklahoma, not Alabama. They were the first to ban masks for the explicit reason of protests last year. And if you could just scroll down to the initial body of this paragraph. Suburban New York officials looking to stop violent protesters from obscuring their identities have banned wearing masks in public except for health or religious reasons. And there we see our friend again. Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman, a Republican, signed the legislation Wednesday, calling it a bill that protects the public. And so then flash forward to this Forward article. This reporter at the magazine Forward spoke to the people who targeted Mahmoud Khalil for ICE detention. Just the first paragraph here. Among the dozens of masked protesters at Barnard College's library last week, Barnard is a part of Columbia, Mahmoud Khalil stood out because his face was bare. In video clips from the demonstration posted online, Khalil is seen testing a megaphone and speaking to a reporter. And then they explain what he was protesting. Such pro-Israel forces started circulating photos and video of Khalil shortly after the Barnard Library protest concluded last Wednesday. Documenting Jew hatred on campus, a group focused on Columbia described him on X as one of the leading agitators on campus and asked Secretary of State Marco Rubio to hashtag deport Mahmoud Khalil. Can you click on the hyperlink on described him on X and see how recent that was? Just go down to the times, March 7th, 2025. So Friday. He was detained on Saturday, and they tweeted that at Marco Rubio. And this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to ban face coverings. And this guy was making the case publicly so that they can more easily identify you and target you for state repression like we're seeing right now.
And we should also add that Khalil wrote to Columbia University and said, I need protection because he could see that he was being targeted.
Yep.
The Jewish Forward has this excerpt. John Fetterman, who promised to escalate the issue, he said some members of Columbia's board had also reported Khalil to officials. So members of Columbia's board, also Beitar, which is basically a brown shirt Jewish organization that Einstein called fascistic, has been the one directing these doxing campaigns.
Who was Einstein getting paid by, though?
Well, Einstein might have been Hamas. I don't know.
And to correct myself from earlier, it was Prem Thakur Zateo who broke the news that he asked Columbia for protection. I think probably the day after this happened, and they still came for him anyway. So there you have it.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.